Hi everybody, welcome to the remote judging of YPS National Salon 2025. My name is Kishan Harwalkar and I am the secretary for this salon. For the YPS National Salon 2025, we have 4 sections, namely open color, open monochrome, nature and travel sections. And the salon has patronage from FIP. Before we start the remote judging session, let me first introduce you to the salon committee and the jury members. Ms. Anita Mysore is the salon chairman and she is also the director of YPS. And yours truly, Kishan Harwalkar, is the salon secretary. We have Mr. Madhu Kakde, who is the treasurer for the salon and he is also a director at YPS. Gopinath is the webmaster. So we have 4 reviewers who reviewed the pictures submitted in a different section. Mr. Chandrasekhar S, who is the reviewer of open color section. Kaushik Rao is the reviewer of monochrome section. He is also the director at YPS. Mr. Girish Anantamurthy is the reviewer of nature section, who is the vice president of YPS. And Ms. Prema Kakde is the reviewer of travel section and she is the secretary at YPS. Apart from this, we have an external support team which consists of Kaushik, who's also a director of YPS and is in charge of salon setup, and Manju Vikas Shastri, who is the president of the YPS as well, and he is in charge of the sponsorship for this salon. Mr. Raj Simhayas is in charge of catalog design. Mr. Chetan Rao Mane and Mr. Niladri Srinivasa are in charge of all the creatives that you see during the salon. Ms. Swati Shah is the social media coordinator. Mr. Rajaram KS is the coordinator for print media. Along with Mr. Girish Anantamurthy, who is also the print media coordinator and the vice president at YPS. And we have Girish Mayachari, who's in charge of the exhibition, and Mr. Subramanya CK, who's in charge of the logistics for the award. Now with this, let me quickly introduce you to the jury of the YPS National Salon. We have Mr. Gurdas Dua, who is the jury for open color, open monochrome and travel section. We have Mr. Saurabh Bhattacharyya, who is also the jury for open color, open monochrome and travel section. We have Mr. Ratnajit Chaudhary and Mr. Vinay Parelkar, who are the juries for nature section. And we have Mr. Arjun Haarith, who is the jury for open color. Mr. Lakshminarayana AG, jury for open monochrome. Dr. Pramod Shanbag, who is the jury of nature section, and Mr. Padmanabh KG, who is the jury member for the travel section. I welcome all the jury members for the remote judging session. We received overwhelming response for this salon. So we had 190 authors who submitted images for YPS National Salon 2025, which consisted of 2,409 images. We would like to thank everybody for your participation towards this session. Thank you all. The esteemed jury for the open color section consists of Mr. Arjun Haarith, Mr. Gurdas Dua and Mr. Saurabh Bhattacharyya. A quick introduction of all the 3 jury members before we begin the remote judging session. So Arjun Haarith hails from the Garden City of India, Bangalore, and he works as a senior software engineer on Adobe's Lightroom team. His passion for photography was kindled at an early age and honed through the regular outings with H. Satish, a renowned wildlife photographer and former president of YPS. These experiences helped him master the art of photography. Arjun began exploring nature photography during his college years. in 2007-2008 and has since diversified into other genres like travel, pictorial, astrophotography, and more. An avid traveler, Arjun loves discovering new places and documenting his journeys through beautifully crafted blogs. His blog site, arjunhaarith.blogspot.in, boasts over 40 entries offering vivid descriptions of destinations, practical tips on accommodations, and must-visit spots and stunning travel photography. A passionate trekker, Arjun has also scaled numerous peaks in the Himalayas and Western Ghats, capturing the breathtaking beauty of these regions. In the world of competitive photography, Arjun has over 1,500 acceptances from national and international salons and has garnered more than 250 awards at both levels. His work has also been recognized with honorable mentions in prestigious photography contests such as Maria Luisa in Spain, DJMPC, and DJMPC. Arjun's photographs have been featured in esteemed publications like Sanctuary Asia and showcased in calendar, books, and digital platforms including Nat Geo India, BBC Earth, and Nat Geo Traveler. I welcome Mr. Arjun Haarith to be the jury member for the open color section. Next, we have Mr. Gurdas Dua. Mr. Gurdas Dua has FIIPC, FBAF, AFIP, Honorable FBASP, Honorable GMSAP, and Honorable ADCC. He is an internationally celebrated photographer whose creative journey began in 1989. With a strong dedication to education, a wealth of accolades, and a significant portfolio of published work, he has earned recognition from esteemed global, local, and government organizations. As the founder-director of Lens Maestro Group, he fosters skill development and global recognition for photographers worldwide. Mr. Gurdas has served as a jury member for prestigious competitions including HIPA from Dubai, Dodo Magazine in Spain, FIAP World Cup, and the Photography Society of America contests, among others. He is a 5-time National Award winner from Ministry of Information Broadcasting and Ministry of Tribal Affairs, India, and was listed among the top 30 global exhibitors by National Geographic in 2008. His notable awards include Epson Color Imaging Award, Japan in 2004, and the Gujarat State Lalit Kala Academy Award in 2005. His work, with over 1,000 exhibitions and 100 awards, has been featured in global publications like Global Photographic Union magazine from Greece and Smart Photography. Notable articles include Get Set Go for travel photography in 2015 and How to Modify a Portrait to Photogenic in 2019. With that, I welcome Mr. Gurdas Dua to be our esteemed jury member for the open color section. Lastly, we have Mr. Saurabh Bhattacharyya. Mr. Saurabh Bhattacharyya is associated with Research and Technology Department of a world-renowned paint company and has deep passion for playing with colors. His journey in photography began in 2004 with his admission to the Photographic Association of Dum Dum, Calcutta. He achieved his first salon acceptance in 2008 and has since garnered over 3,000 international acceptances from 87 countries. He holds photographic distinction from all 8 international bodies, a testament to his dedication and skill. Photography has provided him with a stress-free life and continually inspires him to think outside the box. With that, I welcome Mr. Saurabh Bhattacharyya to be our esteemed jury member for open color section. With that, we'll now start the webcast of the remote judging for open color section. Thank you. The results for the open color section. For open color section, we had 643 pictures submitted from 165 participants. And the jury members went through all these images and scored them, and have also picked 15 award-winning pictures from different authors. So we have 1 FIP medal, 3 YPS medals, YPS Gold, YPS Silver and YPS Bronze, 1 award for YPS Young Talent, 5 FIP honorable mentions, and 5 YPS honorable mention. Let's take a look at the award-winning pictures and the photographers who took these pictures. The FIP medal for the YPS National Salon 2025 goes to, for open color section, goes to Mr. Partha Roy from Youth Photographic Society. He's from Hooghly, West Bengal, and the title of the picture is Rooster Fight. The YPS Gold goes to Mr. Rakesh Rawal from Photo Circle Society, Thane, Maharashtra, and the title of the picture is Follow Up. The YPS Silver goes to Mr. Suresh Bangera from the Photography Society of India. He's from Mangalore, and the title of the picture is My Sister. YPS Bronze goes to Mr. Sayan Ghosh from Himalayan Camera Club, Siliguri. The title of the picture is Expression. The YPS Young Talent Award goes to Mr. Achintya Murthy from Youth Photographic Society, Bangalore, and the title of the picture is Maravante 0422D. So we have 5 FIP honorable mentions. The first FIP honorable mention goes to Mr. Hemachandra Jain from Youth Photographic Society in Davangere, Karnataka, and the title of the picture is Rooster Bath 07. The second FIP honorable mention goes to Mr. Sunil Marathe from Full Frame Photo Club India from Mumbai. The title of the picture is Her Majesty. The third FIP honorable mention goes to Mr. Muhammad Arfan Asif from Youth Photographic Society, and the title of the picture is Cascading Fields. The fourth FIP honorable mention goes to Prashant Kumar Nammalwar from YPS. He's from Chennai, and the title of the picture is Group of Elephants. The last FIP honorable mention goes to Dr. Gopal Belokar from YPS. The title of the picture is, he's from Amravati, Maharashtra, and the title of the picture is Fire in the Sky. So we have 5 YPS honorable mentions. The first YPS honorable mention goes to Mr. Subrata Nath from Howrah, West Bengal, and the title of the picture is Zipper R2. The second YPS honorable mention goes to Mr. Rajkumar Som from Kolkata, West Bengal, and the title of the picture is Mummy 605. The third YPS honorable mention goes to Ms. Happy Mukherjee from Uttarpara district, Hooghly, West Bengal, and the title of the picture is Sky is the Limit. The fourth YPS honorable mention goes to Mr. Anand Nirgude from the Photographic Society of India. He's from Mumbai. The title of the picture is Milky Way over Quiver Tree. The last YPS honorable mention goes to Mr. Subhajit Mukherjee from Navi Mumbai, Maharashtra, and the title of the picture is Flower Seller. I congratulate all the award winners for the open color section.